kingdom surrounded by towering mountains and ancient whispering forests, 2 princesses were born, sisters as different as dawn and dusk. The elder princess, Teresa, was known across the land for her bright, constant voice. She had a talent for talking, and her words filled every corridor of the palace with energy. Confident, expressive, and endlessly curious, Teresa believed that her voice was her greatest gift, one that could command rooms just as easily as a royal decree. Her younger sister, Princess Hannah, was the opposite. She had never spoken, not a whisper, not a murmur. To many, she was the silent shadow beside her loud, sparkling sister. People assumed it was a condition, a weakness, something to pity. And so while Teresa dazzled noble guests with her chatter and charm, Hannah drifted quietly behind, unnoticed, unseen, unheard. But Hannah possessed something extraordinary, something no one else in the palace, or perhaps the kingdom, had ever imagined. Though she spoke no words, her silence held the language of the world itself. Hannah could hear what others could not: the murmurs of trees, the sighs of rivers, the conversations of roots threading beneath the earth. Nature recognized her as one of its own, a wanderer who listened rather than demanded, and, in return, it trusted her with truths hidden from mankind. One day, as the kingdom celebrated another grand gathering, Teresa's voice danced through the halls as usual, bright, confident, unstoppable. Meanwhile, Hannah lingered near the palace gardens, listening. Something was different. Beneath the cheerful noise of the palace, she heard a troubled whisper, a tremble from deep inside the forest. For weeks she had sensed an unrest, a call for help, but she had dismissed it as her imagination. Now it grew urgent, like a faint cry vibrating through the roots. Determined at last, Hannah followed the voice into a part of the forest she had never walked before. The deeper she went, the more the trees shivered with warning. Their whispers spoke of flames, not flames of fire, but flames of hidden sins burning inside the palace walls. Then she saw it. An ancient tree stood tall in a silent clearing, older than kingdoms, older than memory. Hannah recognized the legend immediately: the rootkeeper, the mythical guardian of the land, a being said to protect the kingdom's balance. No one believed it existed, but here it was, enormous and alive. As Hannah touched its bark, the tree pulsed with glowing veins, responding to her presence. A symbol appeared on her palm, faint, like a lantern with a flickering light. The rootkeeper's deep voice hummed through her mind. Flames hidden in the palace shadows, pride, greed, fear. They must be stilled. Alarmed, Hannah rushed back to warn the palace, but no one listened. They saw no lantern, no magic, no urgency. They brushed her off gently, assuming she was simply confused. It was a feeling she knew too well, silenced before she could even try to speak. Defeated but not discouraged, Hannah returned to the rootkeeper. As if understanding her confusion, the tree released 3 leaves: red, blue, and yellow. The colors shifted as she touched them, revealing their meanings: pride, greed, and fear. The silent sins within the palace, the ones destroying its foundations from within. Hannah held the leaves close and returned to the palace with newfound determination. The next day, she sought the first sin. In the royal council chamber, she listened. Voices rose with arrogance, ambition, and false glory. But the lantern on her palm flickered only faintly until one voice pierced sharply above the others. A knight, Sir Lancelot, spoke not for the kingdom, but for his pride, seeking glory in war instead of peace. As Hannah stepped near him, the red leaf glowed. Pride had revealed itself. The moment she held the leaf toward him, something magical happened. The truth burst out of him uncontrollably. His real intentions, his hidden motives, his selfish desires. Shocked council members quickly removed him from his position, ending years of silent manipulation. And as the red leaf turned to ash in Hannah's hand, the lantern dimmed in relief. One sin down, 2 remained. As Hannah walked the palace halls, another whisper tugged at her senses, one of hunger and unfair abundance. She followed it to the old amphitheater, a forgotten ruin. Yet inside, she found a feast laid out for nobles, food secretly stolen from the royal rations meant for the starving people. The blue leaf glowed. Greed had been found. When Hannah raised the leaf, the amphitheater trembled and transported itself to the center of the city. The nobles, exposed before the people and the council, could no longer hide behind wills or excuses. The kingdom witnessed everything: the wastage, the lies, the heartlessness. The blue leaf turned to dust, the second sin destroyed. But a final whisper called her back to the palace's core: fear. The last sin did not hide among the common folk or selfish nobles. It lived inside the royal council chamber, wrapped around those who served the queen. Hannah realized the advisors feared speaking truth because the queen herself had become unapproachable, her temper sharp, her expectations high, her pride mixed with blind trust in the wrong people. When confronted, the advisors finally revealed their fears. Hidden truths spilled out. They admitted the queen had unknowingly encouraged silence through her harshness, creating a court where truth suffocated before it reached her ears. The queen, stunned and ashamed, accepted her fault. Fear dissolved at once as the yellow leaf burned, and with it, the lantern flickered its final glow. The 3 sins, pride, greed, and fear, had been uprooted one by one. When the royal family and the council gathered before the rootkeeper, the great tree spoke once more through the wind itself. Speak the truth, protect the root. What is silenced must still be heard. Princess Teresa, usually full of chatter, stood quiet for the first time. In that moment of stillness, she finally heard her sister, not with ears, but with understanding. The kingdom bowed not to Teresa, nor to the queen, but to the silent princess who had saved them all. But Hannah, with all her wisdom, refused the throne. She placed Teresa at the front, promising to guide her as the kingdom's spiritual protector. Teresa vowed to rule with Hannah's quiet strength in her heart, and together they proved a greater truth. Leadership is not shaped by the loudest voice, nor the quietest heart, but by the harmony between the two. In the end, it was not words that saved the kingdom, nor silence that held the power. It was the unity of both. And so, dear dreamers, the kingdom found peace once more, not through battle, not through loudness, but through the quiet courage of a princess who listened when no one else could. Hannah's silence became her strength, and Teresa's voice became her guide, showing us that every person carries a gift the world needs, even when it looks different from what others expect. May this tale remind you that the truth always finds a way to shine, that kindness has power, and that even the smallest acts of courage can change entire kingdoms. If you enjoyed wandering through this magical story, let your heart carry its message into tomorrow. And before you drift into dreams tonight, remember, every voice matters, even the quiet ones, especially the quiet ones. Thank you for watching, dear little dreamers. If this story touched your heart, give it a gentle thumbs up, share it with someone who needs a spark of courage, and don't forget to subscribe to Nini Nights for more magical tales every week. Until next time, may your dreams be gentle, may your heart be brave.